for accountability. What a man who egged a Saskatoon synagogue says was behind the act. A meaty market, what's popping up on store shelves in Saskatoon that some may have a beef with. And a yoga class that's cute and cuddly.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We begin tonight with the latest developments involving an egging at a Saskatoon synagogue. The lawyer representing the accused says the incident was not fueled by anti-Semitism. But as CTV's Laura Woodward reports, the Jewish community wants the motivation to be closely investigated.
The lawyer representing a man involved in egging a Saskatoon synagogue says the incident was not fueled by hate. On August 4th, Jaden Clark threw eggs at the Congregation Agudas Israel synagogue and vehicles in the parking lot. About a week later, the 31-year-old man from Dundurn turned himself into police. He's been charged with 3 counts of mischief. His lawyer, Brian Pfefferly, says Clark accepts responsibility. Quote, he wants to be clear that it was not motivated by hatred, anti-Semitism, or hostility toward the Jewish community. The location was a matter of unfortunate timing, not targeted animus. Pfefferly says the egging was alcohol-induced and foolish, and Clark can now see the genuine fear he caused.
More needs to be done to uncover the intent.
Jewish advocacy group B'nai B'rith wants Clark's motivation to be closely examined.
Regardless of inebriation, this was a decision. Mr. Clark chose to attend to the synagogue. He had enough faculties about him to specifically attend to that synagogue and to carry out the vandalism. So I do believe that this needs to be investigated as a hate crime, and I'll leave it up to the authorities to decide whether or not that threshold is met.
Police say it can't comment as the matter is now before the courts. Any evidence that an offense was motivated by prejudice, bias, or hate can be considered during sentencing. Saskatoon police data shows the number of anti-Jewish hate incidents doubled from 5 in 2024 to 10 in 2025. The defense says Clark has reached out to the Jewish community to make amends. His first court appearance is scheduled September 16th. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Premier Scott Moe is sharing his thoughts on trade with the United States after a tentative deal was struck to put another round of tariffs from President Donald Trump on pause. While the fine details are being worked on, Moe says this broad agreement is good for Saskatchewan, Canada, and the world. CTV News has learned tariffs in certain sectors like steel and aluminum are being reduced as part of the agreement with the U.S. While these tariffs have only affected roughly 5% of the Saskatchewan economy, Moe says the status quo was not possible and negotiators had to find the best path forward.
You need to make every effort to come to a trade agreement with your largest trading partner. Should they move away from this deal in a month or 3 months or 6 months, that is beyond the control of myself or Prime Minister Carney or anyone in Canada for that matter.
Moe says in a conference call this afternoon, Prime Minister Mark Carney asked Canadian premiers to put American booze back on the shelf for this deal to move forward. Saskatchewan and Alberta are the only 2 provinces continuing to sell American alcohol. Saskatchewan shoppers looking to save on beef have another option at the grocery store. Some Australian cuts are being sold for less than their Canadian counterparts. CTV's Stacey Hine on why and what it means for the cattle industry.
Australian beef is showing up as a cheaper option for some cuts on Canadian grocery store shelves. And for some shoppers, prices are catching their eye.
I bought the strip loins for $13 a pound, which I thought was more than reasonable.
I'm here because ground beef, extra lean ground beef is on sale. And I basically buy beef when it's on sale.
This Australian boneless rib steak is about $11 cheaper per kilogram compared with a Canadian cut. Tyler Fulton, president of the Canadian Cattle Association, says quality is part of the reason for the price difference.
Generally speaking, the Australian production model is a grass-based one with a short grain-fed period on the end. And quite simply, the result is a beef product that typically has a little bit less marbling or fat and generally is not in quite as high a demand.
Fulton says another factor may be retailers taking a loss on the Australian beef in order to bring people into the store. He also says imported beef can help fill short-term gaps in supply as Canada's cattle industry recovers from years of decline. But he doesn't see imports as a major concern for Canadian producers, with the herd now beginning to rebuild.
We're on a great trajectory to build the herd, but it takes time. And so I think there's just an appreciation that there's a short-term need, and Australia fills that.
Fulton adds imports help make sure shoppers still have options at the meat counter. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
The First Nations Health Ombudsperson has some recommendations at the halfway mark of an independent review of hospital safety and security. In May, the province announced a third party would conduct a review into security and safety of hospitals across Saskatchewan after a number of concerns were raised about violence and weapons in healthcare facilities. Diane LaFond, the First Nations Health Ombudsperson, recently met with former Saskatoon Police Chief Clive Wayhill, who is leading the review. LaFond presented 3 recommendations for him to consider, including bringing more Indigenous voices to the table, strengthening security accountability, and reviewing security intervention. The review is expected to be complete by the end of November. It was a warm but breezy day out there today.
A bit on the breezy side, no question about it. Now, the good news is the wind will be backing up as we head into the evening hours and the overnight, and it won't be as windy tomorrow. We are keeping our eye on a line of storms. It's a bit of a trough line moving through Saskatchewan in an east or west fashion, and along that trough line, we do have some showers sparking up, and not a lot in the way of severe thunderstorms, and not even non-severe thunderstorms. But down in the southern area, we do have this sort of reflectivity of the radar being faked out, but ultimately, things are looking pretty calm as we make our way into tomorrow, and actually the weekend, things are getting even warmer.
New speed cameras are being installed in Saskatchewan. This one was put up earlier today on Circle Drive between College and Attridge Drives. The new cameras are mounted on poles, replacing the camera boxes on the side of the road. No new locations for the speed enforcement are being added, and fines will stay the same. The new cameras are the result of a new contract with Global Traffic Group. The previous vendor ended its agreement early. SGI did not give a date for when all of the cameras will be installed, but says they will be in service soon, and is reminding people the speed limits are still in effect. Treaty 6 is about to mark a major milestone. To mark the occasion, a Saskatchewan group has embarked on a special journey. Jasmine Pelche explains the historical meaning behind it.
This weekend will mark 150 years since the signing of Treaty 6, and one group is commemorating the milestone in a big way.
Back when our treaties were signed, they had to travel to get to Fort Carlton, and that didn't happen in one day. A trail that we took here is the original trail that our ancestors traveled to Fort Carlton to go sign treaties.
On Monday, a convoy of lance runners and horseback riders of all ages departed from James Smith Cree Nation for a 4-day trek across central Saskatchewan all the way to Fort Carlton, with participants from neighboring First Nations communities joining along the way. CTV joined the riders Monday afternoon.
It's a very important day to us, and you can see that the grandfathers gave us good weather today on our 4-day trip to Fort Carlton from James Smith.
So I guess, are you having fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you like the most about this?
Horses.
The purpose of the ride is to promote healing, peace, cultural resilience, and to honor historical events.
A lot of us are working hard to make sure that our treaties are still alive and well today. And it just signifies our unity, right? It signifies the importance that that we feel that all treaty people should hold close to their heart.
Anyone who wants to is invited to join.
We're not going to say no to anybody. If you're willing to walk, run, come and help us. You know, we need more the merrier.
The group will end up at Fort Carlton just in time for a commemorative gathering that begins Thursday and continues through the weekend.
So it's going to be very unique for us and be an honor, you know, to see our youth participate in that.
Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Birch Hills.
The community of Melville is coming together to help 2 RCMP officers injured in a shooting in June. One of the youngest residents doing her part is offering people a way to show their support financially and physically. Virginia DeClute has the story.
Almost 2 months since 2 RCMP officers were injured in a shooting in Melville, community efforts to help haven't slowed down. One of the people lending a hand is 10-year-old Hadley Polk.
I'm selling bracelets. All the money that I'll make is going towards the injured officers.
She comes from a family of RCMP officers and is close with the Mounties who were shot, so she didn't hesitate when it came to support.
She actually spent time in Regina with the officers, and she sat with one of them from the day after it happened until he initially got to come home. So she got right to work when she got home.
Hadley's bracelets debuted at the fundraiser organized by Melville firefighters in July.
She raised over $4,000 at the initial fundraiser, so then she came home and made about 200, 300 more bracelets, and she just kept going.
Her venture is proving widely popular, with both Melville residents and visitors stopping by her booth to donate.
I was expecting like a couple hundred, but then, well, now I'm just kind of at 8,000.
And then I see Hadley and their family doing all this. I'm like, I need to donate. He's a great part of the community, and I think it's really important to me that we're raising this money for him and Dave.
As the community rallies behind the 2 officers, Hadley knows that she's helping make a difference. She says from the hundreds of bracelets Hadley's made, some have made their way back to one of the officers they are meant to support.
I think one of them is very proud of me. He even wears some of my bracelets around, and he doesn't take it off now.
One day, her mother says, Hadley may follow in her family's footsteps and join the RCMP herself. And for now, she continues to serve her community through art. Virginia DeClute, CTV News, Melville.
We are learning more about the health of one of Saskatoon's grizzly bears before his death. Yesterday, the Saskatoon Forestry Farm, Park and Zoo announced that Coda had been euthanized following declining health. Today, it provided more information saying prior to his death, staff and veterinary teams were concerned he had a spinal injury. A post-mortem exam has confirmed Coda had a large tumor pressing on his upper spine. Because of the tumor size and location, surgery would not have been an option. To avoid Coda facing a further decline and being in pain, the decision was made to put him down. For some people, yoga is all about finding your inner peace. But at one farm east of Saskatoon, it's also about keeping up with a few fluffy distractions. Carla Shinkeris takes us to a bunny yoga class.
Plant your hands, step to plank. This may look like a regular yoga class, but thanks to a few dozen fuzzy distractions, it's anything but.
As you watch their little noses wiggle and their ears, there is a joy that rises up from within you because they are so cute.
For instructor Alicia Iwanchuk, the bunnies add a special type of zen.
A lot of people aren't coming to bunny yoga to get the whole zen yoga experience, but it is getting them in their body and it is bringing joy into their life.
There are a few repeat customers, but many people are hopping into their very first bunny yoga class.
Just thought it would be a fun summer thing to do. Beautiful evening. Love animals. Why not?
I don't do any yoga. This is the second time I did it this week, just because it's such a great experience.
As for many of them, it's worth the half-hour drive east of the city.
Bunny yoga sounds incredible. I took my husband on a date night, so we're just doing some exercise.
The idea came from the owner of Wander's Tiny Farm, who started the interactive petting farm 5 years ago.
I happened to see somebody posting a picture of herself doing yoga, like a yoga pose here on the farm on a big tire. And we started chatting, and yeah, we decided to start doing bunny yoga.
People come from all over the province to take in the class, which is in its 3rd season. And while bunnies can bite, he hasn't had any issues, but it is on his mind.
I'm mostly concerned about my bunnies going after very expensive Lululemon yoga mats.
He moved to Saskatchewan from the Netherlands 11 years ago and had a dream to run a farm. Now hundreds of people visit each year.
Take it off the mat. Do not kick a bunny.
And for these visitors, they get in a little workout while the bunnies are just busy doing what they do best, creating some hoppy vibes. Carla Shinkeris, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Work is underway at the St. Victor petroglyphs in southern Saskatchewan to find out when people first came to the area. Mick Favel delves into the history to be told for years to come.
This cliff overseeing a scenic area in southern Saskatchewan is filled with petroglyphs made hundreds of years ago. Now, thanks to carbon-14 testing and some digging, it's becoming more clear when people possibly first set foot here.
We sent away material from a 10 to 20 centimeter level, and we got a date back of the year 900 AD. And then the other one was at 50 centimeters down, and that one dated at 120 BC.
For generations, there have been questions as to who made the petroglyphs. According to one find, it likely was a meetup spot for tribes from all directions.
When you're dealing with maybe 7 different varieties of pottery, all coming out of one washout, that tells you that somewhere at some time, everybody from all these different pottery makers showed up here.
The St. Victor petroglyphs are a protected site, now a part of a provincial historic park. Linda Benson is bringing her friend Janice McCrum to see the carvings for the first time and to experience one of Saskatchewan's most glorious viewpoints.
Just a very spiritual place, which I think that's what the petroglyphs are all about. Yeah.
Very spiritual.
So very lovely, especially coming from the city, believe me, it's an overwhelming experience.
We have a human foot on the far side, with a tiny human foot sitting there.
Monroe has been giving tours of this site for 40 years. Over that time, many petroglyphs have been found. Some can only be seen with the right lighting.
If you come in April, you get a different sunlight. May is different, right through to the end of September. The light hits them at a different angle, and suddenly one pops out you haven't seen for a couple years. So that's the excitement of the whole site.
Animals, people, teepees, footprints, all reflections of life for Indigenous peoples before first contact. Over 360 petroglyphs have been found at the site, along with a number of artifacts now housed at the museum down the road. A place always open to sharing one of Saskatchewan's unique wonders. Mick Favel, CTV News, St. Victor petroglyphs.
Eagle feathers will now be available for people taking the stand in Saskatchewan Provincial Court as a means of swearing or affirming to tell the truth. One eagle feather will be kept at each of the court's 13 permanent locations for use during proceedings. It's the result of a gift from the sister of a provincial court judge made in memory of their father. People can also bring their own eagle feather to court for the same purpose. Other options for swearing in or affirming to the court are religious symbols, holy books like the Bible, Quran, or Torah, or a non-religious solemn affirmation. Still to come, a possible trade truce. We take a closer look at the temporary pause in U.S. tariffs and what could be next in the economic uncertainty. You're watching CTV News Live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. Back to the latest in the last-minute deal to pause new 50% tariffs. While Donald Trump is boasting about it, Prime Minister Mark Carney will only say the agreement reinforces the Canadian advantage. CTV's Michael Couture has the latest from Washington.
After an intense week of negotiations, Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc and his American counterpart emerged shoulder to shoulder, happy with the deal they've reached.
We've reached an agreement that will not only continue to protect American workers, American jobs, American supply chains, but really strengthen the North American economy and create a situation where North America will continue to be an energy powerhouse.
Three sources tell CTV News there are reductions in the Section 232 tariffs on the table as part of the agreement. Those would affect industries like steel and aluminum.
We may bring some of the tariffs down to a level where other countries are, because Canada was paying a higher tariff.
U.S. President Donald Trump proudly posted about the agreement, adding this AI image about the resurrection of the Keystone XL pipeline. Trump has also long complained about American access to Canada's supply-managed dairy sector.
The tariffs will be non-existent for our farmers. Our farmers were paying tremendous tariffs into Canada, and those tariffs are going to be totally eviscerated, down to zero.
LeBlanc tried to reassure reporters that the decades-old system isn't disappearing.
The Prime Minister was very clear. We needed to protect supply management. We needed to ensure that the supply management regime remained entirely intact. and I'm confident that that's the case.
The Prime Minister was less clear on social media, posting that the deal is, quote, securing the best terms in each of Canada's most important strategic sectors and providing greater certainty about our future trading relationship. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says he hopes Carney stuck to his word.
That's what he promised, an even better deal than we had before. To me, that should mean no tariffs on steel, aluminum, autos, lumber, and an exemption to Buy America.
While few details have been made public, Dominic LeBlanc has returned to Ottawa, and the Prime Minister is briefing his cabinet as well as the premiers this afternoon. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Washington.
Both the president and the prime minister say they're close to a deal, but what one industry considers a win could be construed as a loss in another. CTV's Judy Trin on the trepidation ahead of the new Friday deadline.
Our farmers are going to be thrilled. Our manufacturers are going to be thrilled. And basically, we have no tariffs going into Canada.
There's no doubt Donald Trump likes to win, prompting Canadians to wonder what they could lose. Giving Americans bigger quotas of milk and cheese could chip away at protections for Canada's 9,000 dairy farms.
It will become irrelevant because there will be so much milk entering from every other country that supply management will no longer work. So it's our worry right now.
We are asking the federal government to work for a reduction of the tariffs that are being applied, and we also avoid any new tariffs and also make sure that there is a review.
There are some signs tariffs on automobiles could be reduced. Auto parts manufacturers are hoping the U.S. understands that cars partly made in Canada are de facto American vehicles.
And remind the Americans that a General Motors pickup truck in Oshawa with 50% U.S. content and 60% U.S. steel in it is as much an American car as the one that's made in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And they're just shooting themselves in the foot.
Singular bow. Meanwhile, small businesses like Victoire Boutique, which sells Canadian-made jewelry and clothes to American customers online, are breathing a sigh of relief. It appears a deal may stave off Trump's new 50% tariffs on $28 billion of Canadian goods.
We want to support our industry. We want to make things easier for our customers and not fall into the trap of thinking this is a normal way of operating.
Right now, there's cautious optimism, but until Friday's deadline passes and there's a signed document, there won't be any certainty. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
All right, Jeff, the heat is really going to be on this weekend.
Thank you, Glenn Fry. There we go. Glenda Fry. Yes, we've got ourselves some really warm temperatures coming our way, particularly, well, it's not just down south. Some places in our region may, in fact, be hitting 30 degrees. We'll talk about that later on, but let's take a look at our numbers. Right now in Saskatoon, 25 degrees, winds out of the north at 17 clicks. Not quite as windy, but still a northerly breeze. In Prince Albert, 22 degrees, and sunny and 25 right now in the Battlefords, and slightly windier there, winds out of the northwest at 22. So the hot spot, rather the hot temperature for Saskatoon today, 26 degrees, so 2 degrees above seasonal. Yes, seasonal is now on 24 for a daytime high. 37, though, that was the record warm temperature set in 2008. The record cold temperature goes back to 1950, and that was 0 degrees. The sun came up at 3 minutes before 6, and it's going to go down at 8:23.
Coming up, a first for a Canadian woman, how she is lifting her way into the history books.
September asthma bump? Thursday on Your Morning Lung Saskatchewan on how to keep your child breathing easy during the germiest time of the year, back to school.
All right, now it's time to take a look through the live lens of Skycam. Yeah, we've got some clouds out there right now, but it's been a relatively sunny day, so things are looking pretty good in that respect. Some places dealing with a bit more cloud and some shower activity, but not so much here in Saskatoon. Let's take a look at the satellite and radar shot here. As you can see, there's a small line of showers that's making its way from Alberta into Saskatchewan. We had a little bit of weather, a little bit of active weather that slid out of Saskatchewan, mostly impacting Manitoba right now. But all in all, yeah, look, it's going to be staying hot and dry in BC. rain on the weekend. We're keeping our fingers crossed that forecast stays in place as it impacts the interior, but that's what we're looking at across Western Canada. Now let's take a look at our numbers just to recap one more time. We've got ourselves 25 degrees in Saskatoon, 22 in Prince Albert, and 25 in the Battlefords. Into our hotspot, look at that. Same temperature as yesterday, but a different location. Coronach at 31, Hudson Bay at 5. Around the province we go. 23 degrees in Lloydminster, 26 in Swift Current, 27 in Moose Jaw and Regina, 28 in Estevan, and 25 in Yorkton. 24 degrees in Meadow Lake, 26 in Kindersley and Rosetown, but just 16 in Hudson Bay. No doubt they're getting some rain there. And making our way into the northern part of the province, we got ourselves 23 degrees in Stony Rapids, and it makes it cools off to about 18 in Key Lake. Down south, temperatures in the mid to high 20s right now. No one hitting that 30-degree mark, but getting close in Coronach and Carlisle. And here we go. Here's our futurecast. So the futurecast, you can certainly see we've got ourselves a little bit of active weather sliding into northern areas, but it's scattered, isolated in nature, so I'm not expecting a lot in terms of problematic weather as we make our way into Thursday. So around the province we go. Temperatures in the low 20s for tomorrow. We've got ourselves temperatures in the low 20s, and then as we take a look at west central Saskatchewan, 23 in Spiritwood, 24 in Meadow Lake, 26 in Kindersley, 27 in Rosetown. Temperatures in the high 20s for the southwest, with generally speaking mainly cloudy skies. And then we've got ourselves mainly cloudy conditions as well, with temperatures hovering around that 26 or 27 degree mark in the southeast. In east central Saskatchewan, temperatures basically around 25 degrees, a chance of showers in the Hudson Bay area. And then as we take a look at the Battlefords, clearing skies with less windy conditions tonight, 13 degrees, 25 degrees, mainly cloudy conditions. And then into the 7-day forecast for the Battlefords, as you can see, temperatures really warming up, 29 for Saturday and Sunday. A chance of showers on Monday, 21 degrees, and then bouncing back. Look at that, above seasonal temperatures with sunshine on Tuesday and Wednesday. Prince Albert's overnight temperature, 11 degrees, 25 tomorrow. And then as we take a look at the long-range forecast, getting up to 27 for the weekend. Now, on Monday, there could be showers with risk of a thunderstorm, but maybe not quite, maybe 5 millimeters of rain, but not expecting much more than that. And 24 on Tuesday and Wednesday. And finally, for Saskatoon, dropping down to 11 degrees, mainly clear skies, less windy conditions. And then we've got ourselves 26 degrees, winds out of the northwest at 20. And the long-range forecast for the Gateway City, for the Bridge City, 26 degrees on Friday, sunny skies, and then 30 on Saturday and Sunday. And Monday, a chance of showers, risk of a thunderstorm, but then bouncing back to above seasonal temperatures on Tuesday and Wednesday. Madonna. Yeah, Madonna leads the way with the most nominations for the 2026 MTV Video Music Awards. I know. The pop star is up for 11 awards, including Video, Artist, and Song of the Year. Madonna has been nominated in every decade of her musical career and has 19 wins. Taylor Swift follows with The Material Girl with 9 nominations this year. The hardware will be handed out on September 27th.
Love, love me do.
With a quartet of Beatles biopics currently in production, a rights company representing the Fab Four has signed a new merchandising deal. Apple Corps Limited and Universal Musical Group say they've reached a long-term global partnership related to the Beatles. The deal with UMG covers worldwide physical and digital merchandise, licensing, and e-commerce on behalf of the band. The announcement comes as director Sam Mendes is working on The Beatles, a 4-part cinematic event. A teaser for the fans of the hit Crave series Heated Rivalry has come out. This image was posted to Instagram with the caption, Day One, and shows filming for the second season of the show is now underway. The drama, of course, focuses on a steamy relationship between two closeted hockey stars. The second season is set to premiere next spring.
Well, Jeff, I heard you had your dancing shoes on earlier today.
That's right. They were my boogie, oogie, oogie, oogie dancing shoes. That is 306 Elite Dance Company. They've got a big show coming up at the Broadway Theatre this weekend. 2 big shows. It's called Tenacious. And the founder of the company, Kennedy Elder, is with us today. So first of all, there's something special in that title, Tenacious.
Yes, that has been a word that I have had in my life, used in my circle for so long. And 306 has really taught me the meaning of that, to keep pursuing, persevering through every rise and fall. And it has been so rewarding.
And it's been how many years?
10 years this year. It's been great.
So that's why Tenacious, over and above the word. It's double meaning, man.
Yeah.
Very clever, very clever. That's why you're in charge. Yeah. When people come to the show on this weekend, what can they expect to see?
Yeah, so we have dancers from all over Saskatchewan. They are from Regina, North Battleford, Saskatoon, and they come together to train and perform at this elite level to give you a great show with so much variety. There's some hip-hop, jazz, something for everyone. And they've been working so hard over the past couple months to perform this Friday and Saturday at Broadway Theatre, August 21st and 22nd.
And showtime is?
7 p.m.
All right. Perfect timing, huh?
All right, Jeff. That was perfect timing.
It was. It was pretty amazing.
It is. All right. And now it's time for Pick of the Day.
And we got some amazing photos. We have 4 images to share with you today, and I'll get right to them. This one comes to us from Sheldon. Sheldon writes, "Hey, Jeff, just something a little different at the lake this morning. First time I've ever seen this occurring. Rainbow above the trees in front of my cabin by the shore." That is kind of interesting. So thanks for sharing that, Sheldon. From Simon, Simon says, 8th Street Cruise Weekend on Saturday in Saskatoon. Yes, indeed, there's a lot of amazing vehicles up and down 8th Street on Saturday and Sunday. Thanks, Simon. From Bernice, Bernice tells us, "I took this photo of a bee gathering nectar from my latana flowers yesterday afternoon on my deck. It took its time enjoying the flowers." And that is an amazing close-up. Thank you, Bernice. That's really cool. And I've never heard of those flowers before. And finally, from Wyatt, Wyatt says this was taken out at Martins Lake last weekend while fishing in the morning. Who was fishing? Both of you? Okay, there you go. Yes. That bear's going, "Hey, hands off the fish. Those are mine." I think that's what he's saying. Is that either that or he's looking for a picnic basket. Anyhow, if you'd like to share an image with us, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca. Please put Pick of the Day in the subject line. It really helps us get through the emails.
Still to come on CTV News, a big lift for a Canadian woman, how she's rocking her way through history. Ontario woman has secured her place in the record books. She is the first Canadian woman to lift the historic Dinnie Stones in Scotland. And as CTV's Colton Weens tells us, it's just the newest feat in her lifting career.
Back strong, keep going.
Lori McDougall-Sukrach entered the record books on August 1st, becoming the first woman from Canada to lift the historic Dinnie Stones in Scotland.
I was the 22nd woman all time to lift the historic Dinnie Stones in Scotland. They weigh 733 pounds combined.
One weighs 414.5 pounds, the other 318.5 pounds, and were once counterweights for work on a bridge in Scotland.
It's really heavy, so it's about 4.5 times my own body weight, so it's pretty heavy.
The 43-year-old 5'4" strong woman has been training twice a week for a year for this specific feat at her Campbellville home, using specific equipment to mimic the lift, gaining confidence along the way.
I saw that there weren't any women from Canada who had done it so far, and all year I've been like, okay, if nobody beats me to it, I'm going to be the first.
And she wouldn't have been able to do this without help from her coach.
It's just 2 giant rocks that you have to pick up, right? So it's very skill specific. And if you're not training that specific skill, it's going to be hard to just walk up to them and do them regardless of how strong you are.
A software developer by trade, she's been competing in strongman competitions since 2016, pulling trucks, carrying cars, lifting Atlas stones, and tossing cabers.
Lori loves strongman, and the Dinnies are just kind of like the next step.
Well, McDougall-Sucrege has already lifted her goal. She's planning to head back to the UK and continue lifting historic stones.
I will try to lift other things. I haven't decided yet what my next kind of like big goal is going to be.
Even if there's something that she doesn't really know about yet, if she hears about it, she's immediately going to be like, I'm going to do that next.
But no matter what, she'll always be the first Canadian woman that's lifted the Denny stones. Colton Ween, CTV News, Campbellville.
When we come back, what the Riders are up against in their next matchup, and later we check out a speedy star.
Here's what's happening in our community. 306 Elite Dance Company presents Tenacious, its 10th anniversary celebration. That's August 21st and 22nd at the Broadway Theatre. The Persons Living with AIDS Network of Saskatchewan is hosting its inaugural Teeing Up for Care charity golf tournament. It's set for Friday, August 28th at Moon Lake Golf and Country Club. You can submit your community event by visiting our website and clicking on Community Calendar or scan the QR code on your screen. Once again, it's time to take a look at the rural forecast for tomorrow. And here's what we're looking at. Temperatures that, for the most part, are at or above seasonal values. Spiritwood, 23, 24, Meadow Lake and Lloydminster, but warmer than seasonal for Kindersley at 26, 27, for Outlook, 26 for Watchers, 24 for Hudson Bay. Hudson Bay, a chance of some shower activity, not a lot, but it's a chance, and 24 degrees for Wynyard. Down south, well, no one's hitting 30 degrees, but getting darn close. 29 in Maple Creek and Coronach tomorrow for high temperatures. 28 in Assiniboia and Rockland and Lumsden and Leader. So, yes, some warm temperatures out there. But towards the eastern side of the province, things do cool off a little bit. But still, 24 and 25, that's pretty darn reasonable for this time of year. Is it reasonably warm in La Flèche? And the answer is yes. Partly cloudy skies, 28 degrees for La Flèche. And the wind's shifting around a little bit, but moderate winds at the best, at the most, I should say. And that's how things are shaping up in La Flèche. And that is where internet plans about the 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
And welcome to another edition of X's and O's with West Cape's Riders in BC to face the Lions on Sunday, West. And they're coming off that loss against Hamilton, where essentially Trey Ford came in and destroyed everything. The defense just couldn't stop him. They've had trouble with guys that are mobile when they play quarterback, and Nathan Rourke can do that. So what is the biggest thing this defense needs to do facing a guy that can move around pretty good in the pocket?
Yeah, I think, really it comes down to, I feel like the Riders against Hamilton really just played it a little too vanilla on defense. I think because of some of the issues with the secondary, they kind of figured they would not put any defense or DBs in any binds and really just sit back in kind of a shell coverage and let the linebackers maybe try to sneak into some of those underneath passing zones and maybe turn them over. But it didn't happen with Frost, and yeah, definitely didn't happen with Trey Ford either. Obviously, Trey runs around a little more. He made some big plays late in that game in the third quarter and in the fourth, and I think they really just need to send a little more pressure, kind of leave their DBs to their assignments and not really help them in any way. Just play the game and call it as you would like to call it. I think they kind of got away from that as head coaches and coordinators with just the limits they've had at the injuries at the skill position. So we'll see if they kind of smarten up from that. But yeah, that's the only thing, because linebacker-wise, they have a good crew and they usually get more pressure up front. But they didn't have like any stats, Lee. I was looking at it. It was like just tackles, no TF, no tackles for the losses, no sacks, no. I mean, I think there was a couple of pass breakups, but really just nothing substantial on defense last week.
And Nathan Rourke's going to get his own. He's going to get some yards running the ball, too. You just got to make sure he doesn't damage you too much. And to be honest, the Lions' offense isn't clicking right now as we've seen before in the past. So hopefully they'll be able to work on that. Riders, as is. What about the offense, though, Wes? I don't know if I've seen Trevor Harris like that in a long time, just making some bad reads or just a little bit under pressure.
Yeah, I think they kept it a little too vanilla on offense as well, Lee. And I think Hamilton came in saying, we doubt they're going to lean heavily on the run. They're probably going to look for Trevor Harris to kind of win this with his arm. So they just kind of sat back, you know what I mean, made him have to dink and dunk. And then when he really did try to throw it to the second, third third level. He missed a couple shots, and he had a couple of picks, right? Obviously, that one late in the game, he's really probably just throwing in the pressure, trying to get it in a tight window, and missed. But, yeah, the offense definitely kind of just maybe run a couple more screens. I feel like the Riders have kind of gotten away from their screen game again. Their screen game a little bit since last season. I feel like they ran a lot more, and they started off earlier in the season with a few to Kean Schaefer-Baker. Maybe they feel like their personnel isn't necessarily best for that, but yeah, stick to the run or be a little heavier on the run, and then maybe try to set up some short passes that are designed to try to get to second and third level with the screen game. Even though I'm not a big fan of wide receiver screens, they do have their purpose.
Now the running game star Thomas, 9 attempts, 4 yards per average. It's not that bad. So whether he gets the call or if Quali Conley's good to go, he's been able to show that he can get the job done too. So it will be interesting to see if they can get that running game going once again. Yeah. Well, we'll find out what to do in BC. They got to catch up to the Edmonton Elks, who are now ahead of them for first place in the West Division. Analyze that game, plus we'll get you set for their next game against the Argos on another edition of X's and O's.
Shares of Moderna soared today after the biotech firm announced promising trial results for a cancer vaccine. Morella Fernandez has more on that.
The stock started the day at about $63 U.S. It ended the day at $174 U.S. So it ended the day up almost 177% on those positive results for the melanoma vaccine. Now, if approved, the treatment would be the first of a kind. The Moderna and Merck vaccine would be tailored for patients based on their unique tumors, and those who received it at trial lived longer without cancer returning or metastasizing. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up to 72.41 U.S. West Texas Intermediate up to 85.83 U.S. a barrel. Western Canadian Select is down to 65.67, and the TSX gained 33 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
Turning to local gas prices now, the average price in Saskatoon is just over $1.68 a litre. The lowest price in town, $1.54.9. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco was up $1.81 today, and Nutrien finished the day at $97.31. Coming up, an out-of-this-world discovery in the stars. Then, if you think you're having a bad day at work, think again.
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Stay with us for a great night of television starting tonight at 7 with Master Chef. Well, scientists have discovered the fastest known star in our galaxy. It's zipping around a supermassive black hole at the center of the Milky Way at 25,000 kilometers per second. It's also 10 times closer to the black hole than any stars previously observed there. All of them are affected by the hole's gravitational pull, and this star's close proximity helps it reach its record-breaking speed.
Do those giant letters affect the gravity?
I don't know.
Wow.
There. It's courtesy of ESO, though.
ESO.
So you got that.
Not to be confused with ELO.
There you go.
The Electric Light Orchestra.
All right, a worker at a Milwaukee ice cream parlor has egg on his face, I guess you could say, after a fumble at work was caught on camera. Here is the debacle. The employee lifts the large container and then, as you can see, lost control, finding himself covered in a messy custard mix. He says he could feel his hands starting to slip and really doesn't remember anything other than the mess. And in case you're wondering, he was sent home to shower, clean up, and his coworkers actually cleaned up the mess for him.
All right,
so
exactly.
That would suck.
Yeah, that's embarrassing, especially now. It's like, hey, you know what we should do? Put this on the internet.
Yeah.
He won't be embarrassed at all.
Well, there was an interview with him, so
he's embracing this fame.
This is true.
Good for him.
Everybody has a bad day at work, right?
Absolutely. How many have we had?
Well, so few. Nothing like that, though.
Nothing like that. All right, quick look at what we've got going on in terms of our temperatures tomorrow. At 9 a.m., we're anticipating 18 degrees for a high. By noon, 22. Mid-afternoon, about 26 degrees, and 5 o'clock, 25. So things are looking pretty good for tomorrow.
I dropped a big tray while serving in a restaurant once. That was bad. But
Anybody die?
no, not that I'm aware of.